Hi everybody, I'm going to use this short video to explain the term triangulation. Triangulation is something that I'd like you to do in your research this semester. The term originally comes from navigation, and so I'm going to explain it in terms of navigation and then use that as an analogy so that you can understand it in relation to your research. Okay, so you are out in a sailboat and you're wondering where you are. There's a buoy up ahead. And so you use your compass to get a reading on that buoy. Turns out that buoy is 3 degrees to the north. So that tells you the direction of that buoy in relation to you, but it doesn't tell you how far away you are from that buoy. It could be 3 degrees to the north 1 mile away, or it could be 3 degrees to the north 2 miles away. So what sailors do is they sail to a second location and they take a second reading. That second reading allows them to get that buoy in their crosshairs on their navigation charts and know exactly where it is. Okay, that's the first analogy. Second analogy, shut one eye and now take your fingers and try and touch them together. Okay? Now open both eyes. Whoops. And try and touch them together again. If you're like most people, it was easier for you to touch your fingers together with both eyes open. Here you can think of that in terms of this diagram, that having both eyes allows you a depth of vision. Okay, so those are two analogies. Now let's think of triangulation in relation to your research. Okay, so you have a research question. Let's say your research question is regarding discipline and classroom management. And one data source you have is to do an interview of the teacher in a classroom where you're doing field work. Another data source might be a focus group of students in that same class. Another data source might be school data about violent incidents. Another source might be scholarly interview. Actually, I hope that you would use multiple scholarly articles. So you can see that triangulation in terms of research means using multiple data sources to come at the same issue or question. Okay, one last thing. None of these data sources have the final word, right? It matters what the teacher says, but it's not like he gives the final truth. So my doctoral advisor used to say, there are no immaculate perceptions. You can also think of the story of the blind men and the elephant. Blind people, I'm told, don't really like that story, so let's think of the blind mice and the elephant. In the story of the blind mice and the elephant, a number of mice encounter an elephant. One of them says, "Oh, an elephant is like a rope," because that mouse encountered the trunk. Another mouse says, an elephant is like a tree trunk, because that mouse encountered the hoof or the foot of the elephant. Another mouse says, "Oh, an elephant is like a rope," because that mouse encountered the tail of the elephant. All of these blind mice have a part of the truth based on their limited perspective. And so similarly, it's not that any one of these sources is completely right or completely wrong, but they have an element of the truth, and that by triangulating, by incorporating multiple perspectives, you get a deeper depth of vision. Okay, so that's the kind of triangulation I'd like you to do this semester, and break a leg.